Welcome back to another episode of Soulful Sips Real Talk with Dakiya. I am so glad that you are here today. In the last episode, I touched on the question, who am I now? And I invited you to pause with that question and sit with that question and even reflect on it. So I'm hoping that you did get a chance to do it. And if you did not, it's okay, because we are going to keep that same soulful energy, and we are going to really talk about this question here today in this episode. I truly feel like this question holds a deeper connection to the life that you are trying to live right now, especially as you are entering into this season in your 40s. So I'm going to invite you to take a moment, and hopefully you can find a quiet space and allow yourself to be fully present. I want you to know that this space that I have created, it's a gentle space, it's full of grace, and most importantly, it is judgment-free. So, as we jump into this question and we ask ourselves, who am I now? Let's not rush into the answers that pop up in front of us, because sometimes those answers that we are searching for, they are already right there in front of us. We just sometimes have to be still enough to hear them. And I know, ladies, it is challenging at times to do that because especially for women, I feel like that stillness does not come naturally. And I say that because we are constantly pouring into our families, and we're pushing forward in our careers, and we're showing up in every role life is assigning us. And so I feel like along the way, we tend to quietly put our needs on the back burner. And so this is what this question is coming from. A chance for you to reflect and ask yourself, who am I? And really sit with the question and write down some of the things that you're looking for. I feel like as I shifted into my 40s, I really had to take a moment to pause and reflect on things. And for the first time in a long time, I finally asked myself that question, who am I and who am I right now? We're wives and we're mothers and daughters and friends and professionals. But underneath all of that, there is a more divine purpose there for us. And I feel like this question that we are asking ourselves, it doesn't necessarily shout out the answer to us. I feel like in those quiet moments when we're really searching and doing some deep reflection, we're able to then take a second and really be still in the moment and really see who we are trying to become. I feel like in our 40s, and especially for me, I look at my 40s and I feel like it's layered with experience, and it's wrapped in a deeper awareness of who I am and what I'm trying to become. And in this season, I realized that I have been able to really stop performing and start becoming more of what I want to be. And I'm doing it finally for myself. I feel like you start to begin to choose yourself on purpose. And you start asking yourself, what do I want? Hell, what do I need? And it allows you to redefine success on your own terms. It allows you to really stop chasing someone else's checklist. And I feel like you begin to start creating a life that looks good on the inside and it feels good on the inside. And it's not just all pretty and neat and perfect on the outside for everybody else. And more importantly, in this season, I feel like you give yourself permission to start slowing down. You allow yourself to pivot and you allow yourself to start over, and you do it without always apologizing. I can't even tell you how many times I just had to catch myself always apologizing for things. And it allowed me to really listen to that inner voice and really hear it more clearer. And I feel like as you enter this new season and you start to really ask yourself, who am I and what am I trying to become and what am I looking to change and about who I am for me, it starts to make you get a little uncomfortable in certain areas. But being uncomfortable is needed, and it's hard, but it's needed. And I feel like at the same time, you stop shrinking yourself to fit into places that were never meant to hold your fullness. And for me, that allowed me to start really nourishing true connections with people that truly respected where I was in my space, in my life. I wasn't performing for anybody anymore. I wasn't pretending for anybody. And I began to really offer myself more grace. And I started honoring myself more and trying to find the joy in the things that I was doing. And I really started to implement those boundaries. I cannot tell you how important those boundaries are, and it allows you to see who respects those boundaries with you, because the ones that don't respect them, you'll see it, and the ones that do, you'll nourish those relationships and you'll take them in even more. And so, ladies, as we enter this season, I want you to know that for so long, I feel like our identities have been shaped by duty, by what we carry, by what we sacrifice, even by what we silence. I feel like we finally get to ask those questions and really listen to what those answers are. Who am I really? Beyond the roles, beyond the expectations, and beyond what the world has told us we need to be. We're beginning to step into this space and we're beginning to make more conscious choices, prioritizing ourselves more and doing it unapologetically and listening and learning the things that we need. I mean, this isn't a light switch. It doesn't you can't just flick it on and off and you got everything figured out and, it's all lined up perfectly. No, this is a journey. It's going to take practice. It really takes some deep soul reflecting and really digging into what you need in your life in this season and what you're looking for. And I think for me, and I'm really believing for most women, it's self-reflection. You start asking yourself the hard questions, the questions that stretch you. It's continuous growth, knowing that there is still room to evolve. And it's self-awareness, moving from intention, not just obligation. And you start to then finally reconnect with yourself. You start returning to the things that make you happy. You start giving yourself grace. And so before I think before I did all of that, I had to really step back and I had to quiet the noise around me. I think that's a big one right there. There's always so many different people coming at you, and you're always still trying to do so much for everybody else. And sometimes you just gotta push everybody else to the side. And I know that that is hard for us to do, but it's needed. And you have to really tune in to yourself. And so here's what I hope you can hold on to as you are asking yourself these questions and you're doing the self-reflection, and you know that there is continuous growth in all of that, and you're being more self-aware of what you need, and you're reconnecting with yourself. Here is what I want you to hold on to. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to choose yourself, and you are allowed to do it at your own pace. I want you to know that you are more than the titles that you carry. You are a powerful, evolving woman, and this is your story that is still unfolding. This is your journey. So, as you sit back today and you listen to this episode and you are maybe sipping your coffee or your tea, I invite you to sit with this. Who am I now? Not who you were, not who they expect you to be, but who are you in this moment? Ask yourself, what drives you, not from duty, but from desire? What are you hoping to discover in this season? Is it clarity? Is it peace? Is it joy? Or maybe it's just permission to begin again. I know I didn't hit y'all with a couple questions, a few questions, but I hope that you are really taking it in and really asking yourselves, what are you hoping to gain from this season of life? I think for me, it was a mixture of all of them. It was clarity, and it was a whole lot of peace. And finding my joy again, and giving myself permission to begin again, to start over when, it wasn't quite where I needed to be. And being unapologetic. These are not surface level questions. I feel like these are deep soul invitations, because in this season of life, it's not about losing yourself. It's about finally coming home to yourself. And so whatever your answer looks like, I want you to know, ladies, it's beautiful. I want you to know it's valid. And most importantly, I want you to know that it is yours. So as I close out on this episode today, I thank you for sharing this space with me, for giving me yourself and being present with me and reflecting over these questions with me. And so every time you choose you rewrite your story. Please remember that. So make sure that you follow the podcast, ladies. Make sure you follow it on your favorite platform. Make sure to rate your girl. And I welcome comments. Please comment on it and just let me know, is this something that you've been thinking about? Have you, asked yourself these questions before? Are you just now asking yourself these questions? Let me know. Please share. And I really want and invite you in to share this space with me. And so on that note, ladies, make sure to tune in to the next episode. And remember, until next time, make every sip count and let love be the flavor that fills your cup.